Hello and welcome to this tutorial where I'm going to draw and paint this amazing waterfall. And I found the reference picture on Pinterest, and I think that it was so amazing that I wanted to make a watercolor painting out of it. Now first I do a little SketchUp so I know where everything goes, and I'm using a charcoal pencil for this, but of course you can also use a graphite pencil or whatever you want. But the graphite is hard to see on camera, hard to detect, so that's why I'm using a simple charcoal pencil. And what do we see here? Well, we see a waterfall coming down from a very steep hill, and in the top the waterfall is quite narrow, and as it drops down it comes towards us, and then it gets broader to the bottom, and we see very steep cliffs. So that's awesome, and should you want to see the whole process and all my other tutorials in real time, then you can find me on my Patreon page. So as I was telling, we can see the different areas. So we have the top layer, which is the farthest away from us. Then we see a middle layer with the trees on the edges of the cliffs or the rock, and so it tumbles downwards, and I think that made this particular picture very interesting for me to paint. And then all the way down to the bottom we see some more structure of the rock formation. And the next stage is to fill my ink pen with Parker ink. And the Parker ink is soluble in water. And I want to see if that gives a nice effect on the watercolor paper that I'm using. That's by Hanemühle. It's a tinted watercolor paper. And this one is beige. So I want to see what the effect will be when I use the water-soluble ink and then combine this with the watercolor paint and a little bit of white gouache. So the next stage that I'm in now, that is tracing my actual sketch, my setup sketch, and then trace that with my ink pen. And as I said, the ink pen is filled with soluble ink, and in that way I can get a more definite drawing out of it. It's a little bit like urban sketching or something, and it's detecting the area with the trees that come out of the rock, and the rock are very steep and high, and the water is falling down. So and this is a amazing part too for me. There's a bridge which connects the left rock and the right rock, and this bridge is just very nice in this whole picture. It has a railing, of course, and it has an arch, and the arch makes it very strong, of course. And we can see the little bows, everything. So it's all nature, and then all of a sudden there is this bridge which crosses the waterfall itself. So an actual beautiful composition, I think. And well, everything is dashing down, and the trees are standing up as the water is falling down, and well, just love it. And this is my jelly roll pen, And the jelly roll pen can be compared with a water resistant white ink. That's the best description, I think. So it's just in a ball pen, and it stays there. It keeps your bridge safe, because later on I want to hit this painting with water, of course. And by using the white jelly roll pen, I can make sure that the bridge will stay in place and will not dissolve in the water. So white jelly roll pen, very nice to use with this. It's a big mixed media if you want, but the main part is the watercoloring itself, of course. This is just for work. So now I have everything in place where I want it, and then it's time to hit this painting with the water. And here it is. I have simple water and a tissue for, well, if I need it to dry up my brush a little bit or something, or little accidents, of course. And then I use, I make a little bit of a puddle here with a combination of Pines Gray and a little bit of yellow ochre. Just, well, easy colors. And then I will start to look for the dark areas. And using just a little bit of water and a little bit of the pigments of the watercolor, in no time I can fill in this, well, actually it was a drawing, but it's becoming a painting now. And as you can see, the ink from my pen is also dissolving in the water. So very nice combination of an ink and wash. Ink and wash is one of my favorite. And here we see the top ledge of the rock there, way on top. And then the waterfall is dashing down. It's just pouring towards us. And we can see the dark skylines of the trees there. Very nice in this composition. And some contrast just next to the waterfall itself. You can see the water popping out and dropping a shadow on the rock formations as the water falls down. Well, let's see here, a little bit of extra contrast just next to the waterfall. And the waterfall itself I want to hit with the white gouache. Same as the top of the sky. So here it is my Winsor & Newton white designer's gouache. And it's high pigmented, and I'm just going to put in a little bit of the white gouache into the water, the actual water of the waterfall itself. And I'm using vertical lines to make sure that it shows that the water is dropping down with high speed. So use simple vertical lines or strokes. And of course the waterfall itself is not all white. There are darker elements in there too. So make sure to also use a little bit of gray inside. And this is also nice. Partially the water also drops down as the water splashes up onto the rock. It also dashes down from there. So that makes the waterfall a bit more lively. And the sky itself, that stands out really light. against the darkness of the big rock formations. So you get an extra atmospheric perspective by putting in the white gouache also in the part which is sky. Well, quite happy already. Love the effect. Love the way that the paper, the color of the paper is working for me. And I'll just push a little bit more contrast in here and there to make the waterfall stand out. This is about the waterfall, of course. So then I simply ease down those darker areas, make them blend into the background of the rock formations. And as long as your watercolor is still wet, you can just push it around as much as you want. So that's the nice effect of working with the watercolors. Very nice to create rock formations too. So it's very lively. It's a lively material to work with. I love it. So let's see, a little bit of more extra contrast here in the side rock connected by the bridge, so that stands out. And this is the toned watercolor paper that I used, so I wanted to show you. Well, my watercolor is finished. I hope you will give this one a try. You can find the reference pictures, of course, on my Patreon page, should you want to draw along also with the complete real-time tutorial. So maybe I'll see you there, or otherwise in one of my other tutorials. So have fun and see you soon.